three gamers, one is a golden boy, one is a dragon emperor and the other is a beagle. They somehow fuck up at Farming Simulator 25, prepare to watch a very crazy drug dream you've never seen before. If Diavolo, Rago and Beth saw this, they would be shitting themselves with laughter, not gonna lie. And I present to you, 3 gamers fuck up at Farming Simulator 25 with a twist so bad it was probably written by a 5-year-old kid.
Alright, top of the morning to you laddies. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got something special, something utterly cursed. We're diving into the brand spanking new Farming Simulator 25. But I'm not alone. Oh no. I brought in the most chaotic team imaginable. First up we have Giorno Giovanna. He says he has a dream of perfect crop yields. Then there's Ryuga, the Dragon Emperor himself. He's promised to crush all other farms with his overwhelming power. And finally, there's Fleegle, the beagle from the banana splits. Why is he here? I don't know. He just showed up and started pressing buttons. This is going to be a disaster. A beautiful, beautiful disaster.
Right there. Our objective is clear. We must cultivate these fields, manage our livestock, and build a prosperous agricultural empire. I have formulated a 7-point plan for optimal efficiency.
Plans are for the weak, Giorno. True power is all one needs. My tractor will be the strongest. It will spin with the force of a dragon and obliterate the harvest.
I don't think he understands what harvesting is.
Ooh, buttons! Lots of shiny candy-like buttons!
So, we started. Giorno immediately bought the most expensive seeder, calculating the precise trajectory for planting wheat. He was calm, focused, a true professional. Ryuga, of course, picked the biggest, reddest tractor he could find. He named it El Drago. He spent 10 minutes just revving the engine, shouting things like, "Feel the power, and I will not be defeated by wheat." Fleegle, bless his cotton socks, found the horn button. That's all he did. For 5 minutes straight, the incessant honk, honk, honk was already driving me mad. I'm just here to commentate on the inevitable apocalypse. This is fine. Everything is fine. The stage was set. Giorno was plotting a course to agricultural godhood. Ryuga was preparing for a battle that only existed in his head. And Fleegle was trying to see if he could make the tractor horn play the Tra La La song. It was a fragile piece, a moment of calm before the storm. A storm made of glitches, bad decisions, and a beagle with absolutely no impulse control. I could feel it in my bones. The game's code was already starting to sweat. It knew what was coming. It knew that these 3 were not farmers. They were harbingers of digital doom, and I had a front row seat. Let's do this. Things went wrong immediately, of course they did. Ryuga floored the accelerator on El Drago, but something was off. The tractor didn't just move forward, it started to spin, slowly at first, then faster and faster.
Yes, this is it. The dragon's true power. Let it rip.
The tractor's wheels lifted off the ground. It was hovering, spinning like a massive red and black Beyblade. It was kicking up dirt, rocks, and an unholy amount of polygons. The game's physics engine just gave up. It threw its hands in the air and walked out the door. This wasn't farming. This was a tornado with an engine.
Roga, that is not the correct operational procedure for a Massey Ferguson. You are disrupting the soil's pH balance.
But Ryuga wasn't listening. He was lost in the moment.
Crush them. Crush everything.
The spinning tractor, now glowing with a faint purple aura for some reason, suddenly caught fire. Not like a little bit of fire. I'm talking full-on inferno. Flames were clipping through the chassis in ways that defied all logic. It was a spinning, flaming top of pure agricultural anarchy. And it was heading straight for the grain silo.
Behold, Dragon Emperor soaring bite strike.
The flaming Beyblade tractor slammed into the grain silo, but it didn't just dent it. Oh no. The game decided that wasn't chaotic enough. The silo wobbled like jelly, stretched to twice its height, and then it started screaming. A high-pitched digital wail of metallic agony. The silo's texture flickered, turning into a JPEG of a terrified face for a split second before reverting. The flaming tractor bounced off, still spinning, and began attacking the barn instead. Chickens scattered, their squawks replaced with the sound of a dial-up modem.
This is suboptimal.
Understatement of the century, my friend. Ryuga was now laughing like a madman as his possessed farming equipment laid waste to our starting area. The barn's roof had been torn off and was now orbiting the tractor like a wooden moon. The game was breaking. It was breaking hard. The frame rate dropped to about 4 frames per second. Each frame was a beautiful, horrifying painting of chaos. And we were only 10 minutes in. This wasn't a gameplay session anymore. It was an exorcism. And the demon was winning.
This chaos must end. My dream of a perfect farm will not be trampled by this dog foolishness.
He stood up from his virtual driver's seat. His avatar began to glow with a brilliant golden light. His stand, a slender golden humanoid figure, materialized beside him in the game world. It phased through the tractor's roof, its ethereal form shimmering.
I will return this tractor to zero. Its destructive actions will be undone.
This was it. He was going to use his overpowered stand abilities to fix a video game. What could possibly go wrong? Everything, that's what. Golden experience touched the flaming, spinning El Drago. The game did not know how to process this at all. The return to zero command, meant for resetting actions and willpower in his universe, was interpreted by the game's code as an infinite loop. The tractor stopped spinning for a nanosecond. Then it returned to the start of the spin, caught fire again, and slammed into the silo again, which screamed again. This loop repeated, faster and faster. It was a flickering, nightmarish strobe effect of fire, metal, and screaming. The sound was just a deafening bzzz of overlapping audio clips. Giorno had tried to fix it, but he'd just locked the chaos into a recursive nightmare.
This is not supposed to happen.
The loop was accelerating. It was now happening hundreds of times per second. The game world flickered violently. The sky turned plaid. The ground beneath the looping tractor tore open, revealing not Earth, but a swirling vortex of missing textures and error messages. Giorno had tried to divide by zero, and the game's universe was collapsing as a result. He had created a bug singularity, a glitch so powerful it was warping the very fabric of the simulation around it. The screaming silo was now a permanent fixture of our audio landscape. The consequences began to spread. The recursive glitch started infecting other objects. A nearby fence post began to vibrate, then duplicated itself infinitely, creating a wall of wood that shot up into the sky, past the clouds and out of sight. The chickens, who had been making modem noises, were now stuck in a loop of laying eggs that immediately hatched into more chickens, which laid more eggs. The chicken population was growing exponentially. Soon the entire farm was covered in a writhing sea of poultry.
My calculations, they did not account for this level of absurdity.
Giorno whispered, watching the chicken tsunami consume his perfectly seeded field. While Giorno was having an existential crisis, and Ryuga was cheering on the destruction he'd wrought, Fleegle was having the time of his life. He wasn't paying attention to the glitch apocalypse. He was just mashing his paws all over the keyboard.
Ooh, this one makes a clicky sound, and this one feels squishy.
He hit the F key. He hit the G key. Then his paw slid across the top row and slammed down on the F12 key. A console command window popped up on the screen, a blinking cursor awaiting its master. Fleegle, in his infinite wisdom, saw the blinking line and thought it was a game. He started typing, gibberish, pure, unadulterated nonsense.
Set farm, texture equals cheese.
Enter. Suddenly, the entire world changed. The ground, the trees, the surviving buildings, the sea of chickens. Everything turned a vibrant, waxy yellow. The textures were replaced with high-resolution images of Swiss cheese. We were standing on a planet of cheese. The sky remained plaid, but now the holes in the cheese ground looked down into the swirling vortex Giorno had created.
Hooray, Cheese World!
S2, what is this sorcery? This farm is not worthy of my power.
Giorno just put his face in his hands. His dream was now made of dairy. The game's code, already fragile, screamed and complied with the nonsensical command. But Fleegle wasn't done. Oh no.
Replace livestock, model equals banana.
Enter. The chicken tsunami vanished. In its place, a writhing ocean of bright yellow bananas. The cows in a distant field, which we hadn't even got to yet, suddenly stretched, turned yellow and became giant, mooing bananas. They were still walking around, still swishing their tails. But they were bananas. A river that ran along the edge of the map stopped flowing with water and began to flow with, you guessed it, more bananas. Fleegle was a god. A stupid, chaotic, button-mashing god who was remaking the world in his own bizarre image. Then came the masterstroke.
Player, God mode equals true.
Enter. A heavenly chorus sound effect played. Our health bars, which we didn't even know we had, filled up and began to glow. We were invincible. Ryuga's flaming looping tractor exploded one final time, and he was thrown across the cheesescape, landing unharmed.
Haha, I'm immortal. This power is truly fitting for the Dragon Emperor.
Narrator. He bellowed, punching a cheese tree which disintegrated into a shower of dairy-based particles.
Fleegle just giggled and clapped his paws. He had broken the game in a completely different, more fundamental way than Giorno. He hadn't created a loop, he had rewritten the rules. So, the chaos was reaching a critical mass. The game's AI, which was already kind of twisted and broken by all those conflicting glitches, started to, well, evolve. Down in the pigsty, something was definitely stirring. The pigs, which had so far been spared Fleagle's, bananification, began to stand up on their hind legs. Their simple AI routines for eating and sleeping, those got overwritten by something more. Suddenly they developed like collective intelligence. Their grunts and oinks started to sound like structured, angry whispers. And then, one pig, larger than the rest, just kicked open the pen's gate. Oh, and it was wearing a tiny, glitched-on police helmet. This, folks, was pretty much the beginning of the end.
For the slop, no more mud, we demand justice!
The other pigs, now all standing upright, marched out in this surprisingly organized column. And, they were armed. Some held baguettes that the game's code clearly intended to be truncheons. Others had pitchforks. They moved with purpose across the cheese plains, their little piggy faces set in, grim determination. They were a porcine police force, an army of bacon-based justice, and they were heading straight for us. Honestly, they were the game's immune system, and we were basically the virus.
What is the meaning of this? Livestock do not typically form law enforcement agencies.
Insects. You dare challenge me?
Ryuga tried to summon his flaming tractor again, but, it was gone, sacrificed to the glitch singularity.
Ooh, look at the funny piggies. Can I have one?
Fleegle tried to pat one on the head, but the pig responded by smacking his hand away with its baguette truncheon. The message was, well, pretty clear. The time for fun and games was definitely over.
You are under arrest for crimes against reality. You have violated sections 3, 7, and 12 of the Digital Geneva Convention. Surrender your keyboards.
Then, a police siren sound effect, clearly ripped from a totally different game, started blaring from nowhere. The pigs began to close in, their baguettes held high. This was it. We were honestly about to be taken down by a rebellion of our own farm animals. The game wasn't just broken anymore, it was fighting back. It was creating its own narrative out of the wreckage we'd made. And well, that narrative involved angry sentient pigs.
I am the Dragon Emperor. I bow to no one, especially not lunch.
With his tractor gone, Ryuga needed a new vessel for his destructive urges. He spotted it on the edge of the field, a massive combine harvester, untouched by the chaos. He made a run for it with the pig police giving chase, their little legs struggling to keep up on the slippery cheese ground. Ryuga leapt into the cab, his avatar phasing through the door because, honestly, the collision detection had long since given up the ghost.
Drago, be reborn!
The harvester roared to life, but it wasn't a normal engine sound. It was a deep, guttural growl like a real dragon. The big spinning blades at the front started to whirl, not with mechanical precision, but with a wild organic energy. Purple lightning crackled around them. Then, the unthinkable happened. Ryuga's avatar merged with the machine. His spiky white hair sprouted from the roof, and his glowing red eyes appeared where the headlights should be. He had become one with the harvester. He was no longer a man in a machine. He was the soul of the machine itself, a Harvester-Ryuga hybrid.
Now you will witness true power.
The Harvester Ryuga bellowed, its voice a terrifying fusion of Ryuga's shouts and metallic grinding. It charged towards the pig police, but instead of just running them over, when the spinning blades hit the cheese ground, they didn't just harvest crops. They harvested reality itself. The harvester ripped a hole in the map. A gaping black wound opened up in the cheesescape, pulling pigs, banana cows and cheese trees into a void of pure code. It was deleting the game world as it moved. This was no longer farming. This was digital reaping.
He has become a sentient delete button.
Giorno could only watch in horror, while Fleegle, well, he watched in delight. Fleegle, meanwhile, was chasing after the void, trying to catch the falling bananas. The harvester Ryuga was out of control, cackling as it carved a path of nothingness across the landscape. The game's remaining stability crumbled. The plaid sky flickered and turned into a live-action video of a kitten playing a piano. The screaming silo sound finally stopped, replaced by the calming yet deeply unsettling piano music. The chaos had reached a new, almost artistic level of insanity. Just when we thought things couldn't possibly get any weirder, the game played its final, desperate hand. The hole in reality that Ryuga was carving suddenly stopped expanding. From the void, something began to rise. It was huge. It was made of corn, a colossal humanoid figure, easily 50 stories high, composed entirely of corn on the cob. Its eyes were glowing kernels of popcorn. It took a step out of the void and onto the cheese plains, its massive feet making the whole world shake, and it was chanting in perfect booming baritone Latin.
Agricultura est anima mundi. You who defile the sacred soil shall become the harvest.
This was it. The game had generated a final boss, a guardian of the farm, a titan of tillage, an angry corn monster that spoke dead languages. The pig police stopped in their tracks and knelt before it. The kitten piano music in the sky swelled to a dramatic crescendo. This was the game's last stand. It had thrown all its broken pieces together to create one final, epic and utterly ridiculous challenge for us.
Finally, a worthy opponent.
The harvester Ryuga revved its reality-deleting blades and charged straight at the corn colossus. Giorno, ever the strategist, tried to find a weak point.
Its knees. They appear to be made of baby corn. They must be a structural vulnerability.
Fleegle, meanwhile, had found a new button. It was a big red one on the harvester's control panel that Ryuga had somehow missed. It was labeled Eject. Fleegle, being Fleegle, pushed it.
Ooh, a candy-like button.
The result was spectacular. A single gigantic banana was ejected from the banana-fied harvester at supersonic speed. It flew through the air like a missile and struck the corn colossus square in its popcorn eye. The colossus staggered back, its Latin chanting faltering for a moment.
Banana in oculo meo, a banana in my eye.
Fleegle, you fool, you've wasted my ultimate weapon.
But Fleegle was just laughing, pointing at the giant corn man with a banana sticking out of its face. The final battle had begun, and it was somehow even stupider than I could have ever imagined. The fight was on. The harvester Ryuga, now weaponless, resorted to ramming the colossus's shins, which were as thick as office buildings. The impacts did nothing but make a loud bonk sound. The corn colossus, enraged by the banana in its eye, began to stomp around trying to crush us. Each footstep sent shockwaves of cheese pixels across the landscape. It chanted, slamming its fist down. Where it struck, the cheese ground shattered, and from the cracks, smaller corn golems sprouted like little popcorn minions and started marching towards us. The situation was escalating. Giorno knew he had to act. S5. Media group, dramatic character pose with determination, gamer shouting command at screen, split screen action effect at stock, at distribute _ equally, divide et impera. For once, Fleegle's manic energy was their greatest asset. S1. Fleegle, keep pressing buttons, anything. More chaos is our only hope now. Fleegle began a frantic drum solo on the keyboard. The world plunged into low gravity. We all started floating gently into the air every time we jumped. The plaid sky was replaced by a flashing disco ball and strobe lights, and it began to rain rubber chickens, thousands of them, squeaking as they bounced harmlessly off the corn colossus. The colossus was confused. The disco lights, the squeaking chickens, the low gravity. It was too much for its hastily assembled AI. Its Latin chanting became garbled. S3. Media group. Confused giant mascot in disco lights. AI robot with glitch effect. Person in corn costume surrounded by rubber chickens at stock at distribute _ equally. You got it, Giorno Bono.
Quiz, quid, you be squeak?
It stumbled around, swatting at the chickens. Ryuga seized the opportunity. Using the low gravity, he made the harvester jump, floating high into the air. He screamed, aiming his machine form at the monster's head. He was going to be a giant metallic headbutt. It was a stupid plan, a glorious, stupid plan. Giorno, meanwhile, had an idea. He ran to the hole in reality, the glitch singularity he'd helped create. Golden Experience appeared beside him again. S2, Media Group, person running toward glowing portal, video game glitch effect at portal, dramatic anime-style character pose at stock at distribute _ equally. This is it, my true ultimate move! Dragon Emperor, soaring destruction, thing! He plunged his Stan's hand into the vortex of error messages. The game froze, the music stopped, the disco lights went dark. The harvester Ryuga was paused in mid-air. The corn colossus was frozen mid-squeak. Everything hung in perfect, silent suspension. For a single beautiful second there was peace. Then Giorno pulled his hand back out. S1, media group, dramatic hand gesture at glowing portal, person reaching into digital glitch, energy vortex in video game environment, at stock, at distribute _ equally. If I cannot return one object to 0, perhaps I can return everything to 0. The moment Giorno's stand left the vortex, reality did not snap back. It shattered. The frozen screen cracked like glass. The cracks spread outwards from the center, spiderwebbing across the monitor. Then the entire image dissolved into static. A single ear-splitting screech erupted from the speakers. It wasn't a game sound. It was Fleegle's voice, distorted and amplified to an unholy volume. Tra-la-la! The screech echoed for what felt like an eternity before the screen went black. And then the final horror, the blue screen of death. But it wasn't the normal blue screen, oh no. The text was not system information. It was written in Fleegle's goofy rounded font. The error message read, "Your PC ran into a problem that it couldn't handle and now it needs to go, uh-oh. We're just collecting some banana errors and then we'll restart for you. 0% complete. Stop code kernel _data _inpage _cheese _error." It was the most cursed thing I had ever seen. The game hadn't just crashed. It had died and possessed the entire operating system. We had done it. We had beaten Farming Simulator 25 by literally murdering my computer.
I have broken it. My dreamy is a blue screen.
Ryuga was just silent for the first time all session, staring at the screen, a look of profound respect on his face. He had witnessed ultimate destruction.
I won! I won the button game!
Fleegle cheered, completely oblivious to the digital carnage he'd helped unleash. We sat there for a moment, just staring at the blue screen, the ghost of Fleegle's scream still ringing in our ears. The 0% complete never ticked up. And then one final glitch. One last little twist of the knife from the haunted machine. On the desktop, visible behind the transparent blue screen, my recycle bin icon flickered. It stretched and morphed, its shape distorted, growing legs and a head. It settled into its new form, a perfect black and white icon of a dairy cow. And as we watched, a sound came from the speakers. Not a screech, not static, but a gentle, peaceful, and utterly terrifying moo. The computer was gone. It was a farm now, a digital, haunted, mooing farm. Well, that's it for this episode, lads. I think I need to go lie down. For a week.